this ecosystem was created where everybody was searching for the best things to link to, outdoing each other in finding the latest really good thing, and being and in there we're only into things which passed of a view of being something that they wanted to recommend. And so as a result, each page strove for excellence, and not in both the contents and the links. And as a result, the blogosphere, as it was called, became something which was great value, huge amounts of stuff on the web about all kinds of subjects, but also really great to be in, parts of, very enabling. People felt that I can plug my computer to the internet, I can blog on it, and people will come and read my stuff. And I'm on the same level as all of the other people out there, including all the people out there on the web, including the big news organizations. People can find my blog just as interesting as something out from the big news organizations. And so that is an example of something, of a process on the web, where people loved being part of it. There was a great spirit, but also the net value produced was huge. So when people looked at, analyzed the web, in fact, if they looked at if you drew a graph of this is of the readership of websites, for example, you start off with a high, but then it turns out that whereas if you look at something like TV sites, there's only a few, and the first few TV stations would dominate. They would fall off, and any other TV radio stations would sort of, there won't be very many. They wouldn't have very much readership. But the web was different. The second, third, fourth, fifth, they all did websites. In fact, they were very similar. There were lots and lots of websites which had, in fact, as you go down to the hundreds of thousands most popular websites, still, they are pretty popular. So that this graph looked different. It had a lot of, it was thicker. They called it a long tail. People wrote a book. There was a book about long tail phenomenon. And economists recognized that on the web, something was going on. But unlike in the situations like TV stations, where there's mostly centralized, in this decentralized world, the value is in the long tail. And the value was with serious, real value. Real value that a user could you could go on, you could search. Later, when Google came along in the late 90s, and you could search and find, so zoom into this space of medium, small people putting things online. And Google used the fact that then Google search engine was built, in fact, to use the fact that those links were so carefully chosen. That was the key to how effective it was. So there's an example of something which was famously, which in fact produced a lot of value. When you look at, if you look at the web now, you don't find that long tail. If you do, there's something which in Europe was another great example with Wikipedia. What was interesting about Wikipedia from my point of view was that it started off as being a really simplistic website where anybody could edit any page. The wikis were generally, they were just a free-for-all. And then Wikipedia was one of the many wikis where they decided, oh, well, we do have to have some process. We do have to have some concept of a meritocracy. We do have to have a way of locking a page. We have to have a process for unlocking it and so on. And so we have to have, so they developed a process. And that process has allowed people all over the world. It's not perfect. It's got lots of biases to English, for example. It's not as well represented in lots of other languages, but it is a brilliant example of something on the web where I call it a social machine. It's people do the work, the machinery, the website itself provides the arbitration and if you like, the bureaucracy of it is done by the website, but people provide the creativity. So Wikipedia is not a neat thing, and it still is. And so you would have been forgiven, I think, sort of 10 or 15 years into the now 30-year-old web. Yeah? You'd have looked at it and been rather optimistically for the future. If you'd have thought that, if you'd imagined today, we would be looking at a world where democracy and science are very, very powerful because everybody out there is informed, because of things like Wikipedia, the processes like that have produced a level of truth, and also the political battles that have taken place in a place where people have politicians that have accountable, and anything which they might missay is immediately corrected. And so that, and of course, because the internet doesn't really know about national boundaries, or didn't back then, you might imagine, you might be forgiven for imagining that we'd have a lot more international harmony. Because we would have. After all, international disharmony often comes from misunderstanding, and misunderstanding is fixed by communication, so more communication should be more harmony, right? Well, so now look at the arc of the web, look at where we've got to now. And if you go out there in the street, or talk to people at a cocktail party, then what do they talk to me about? They talk to me about many things. They talk to me about fake news. They worry about clickbait. And so it turns out that whereas the blogosphere worked pretty well, that if you then if you then drive it by ads, and then you leave ads as the only way of rewarding somebody, and then you have two competing websites, and one has nice responsible links, but the other one has clickbait, where you click on something and it takes you, it looks like a very enticing title of the link, and it takes you something completely different. But by that time they've scored their click. Somebody's got some money from the fact that you've been diverted. So now I think a lot of people are actually finding they're not so happy with it. People come to me and they're not happy about the state of the world. They're not happy about the fact that, in fact, even though there are websites out there, most of the people spend their time in just one social network. And so, in fact, their experience is not of going around choosing links between different blogs. It's about sitting there in an environment controlled by one company. And even though that company puts a lot of effort into making the environment as good as it can be, then we've got that we don't have innovation. Because when you get such consolidation in a business, it always happens that when you have a monopoly, then the monopoly tends to, is the only place that can do research, and it's the only place where you can really introduce new products. You can only get things into Facebook if you work at Facebook. And so there were lots of wonderful people who work at Facebook, just as there were lots of wonderful people who worked at AT&T Labs when it was a monopoly. Lots of people who worked at Microsoft when it was a monopoly, but having a monopoly means that your innovation just drops. And so people tell me that they're not so exciting out there, that when you're looking at starting a company, there are lots of areas where you can do it. There's lots of areas where you feel you're just waiting to be stomped on by a very, very large company. So, not happy. People are not happy. That unhappiness, I think, clickbait and fake news was our universal concern. Privacy, obviously, is a huge one. And I think it got to the point where GDPR was in the offing, but the tipping point, I think, for a lot of people around me was when the Cambridge Analytica debauch scandal, that suddenly made not just thinking people like me, but everybody in the street started to be aware of the issue of their data being misused. Not just misused, they'd always been worried about